directly to an AI and have it build the entire thing for me. So, I set up a heavyweight duel. In the left corner, we have Claude. In the right corner, Gemini. I gave them both the exact same prompt based on my design doc. Build me a scalable 3D map featuring the sun at the center with planets, moons, and asteroids orbiting in real time. I wanted to see who could handle the n-body physics and who could nail that stylized retro neon aesthetic I was looking for. Alright, let's dive into the first round. Let's start with Claude. This is Claude's first version right off the bat. Now looking at this, we have an immediate problem. My design document specifically asked for an immersive yet approachable visual style using vibrant colors, blues for Earth-likes, reds for Mars analogs. What Claude gave me is, well, it's dark. It is incredibly dark. I can see that it's trying to be realistic, space is dark, I get it, but from a gameplay perspective, it's a disaster. I literally couldn't see anything. I'm squinting at my monitor here. It looks good in a cinematic sense maybe, like a moody sci-fi thriller, but I just couldn't see where the asteroid was spawned. I couldn't see the trajectory line, and if you can't see the trajectory, you can't play the game. I can hardly see the planets themselves. It's not bad for a first attempt in terms of getting something on screen, but it missed the user-friendly requirement entirely. I wanted clear visuals for beginners, not a simulator for night vision goggles. However, credit where credit is due. Look closely at the planets, it has these wireframes around them. That was actually in my prompt. I asked for a subtle wireframe grid or mesh to be visible to highlight gravitational fields. Claude implemented that immediately, and it does give it a cool, almost retro sci-fi look. It makes it a lot easier to see the planets against the void, but everything else is just lost in the shadow. I tried to find the trajectory, I tried to find the UI messages. I was flying blind. I could see the asteroid escaped messages popping up, which is the failure state I programmed in, but I couldn't see the rock itself actually escaping. So I took a screenshot of this dark void, gave it back to Claude, and basically said, look, I can't see anything. Fix the lighting. Give me those vibrant colors I asked for. While Claude is thinking about its lighting choices, I switched over to Gemini. Now, I'll be honest, I was having a little bit of trouble getting Gemini to open up locally at first. I was running the Claude instance on the local host, and I think I had some port conflicts because I was trying to run them simultaneously. That is just the reality of working with these AI tools right now. Sometimes the bottleneck isn't the AI, it's just your own terminal setup. I eventually figured it out, opened up a third terminal window, and got it running. So I'm not going to count that against Gemini. It was just me trying to launch the program on my laptop while juggling multiple servers. Once we got through the terminal wrestling match, Gemini launched its first attempt. And, okay, it is a stark contrast to Claude. It's sparse, it's minimal, but look at the mechanics immediately coming to life. Gemini gave me a sun, a single planet, and this very clear green trajectory line. This line is crucial. In my prompt, I specifically asked for a dynamic pullback indicator, like a rubber band or energy arc, to show direction and speed based on drag input. I wanted color gradients, green for safe, red for excessive speed. Gemini nailed that logic immediately. And it did something else. It gamified the simulation instantly. It added this little green hoop. Now, I didn't explicitly ask for a hoop in those exact words. I asked for specific goals like hitting targets in the PRD. Gemini interpreted that as put the ball in the hoop. It turned my orbital mechanics simulator into space basketball, which honestly isn't a bad starting point. It's a simple prototype, but you can really see the gravitational pull working here. The physics are active. It created a game, and I guess it assumed different levels or difficulty curves right from the start. But we ran into some UI issues. The controllers were a little confusing. When I pulled back to sling the asteroid, using that Angry Birds style drag to shoot mechanic I requested, it also moved my screen. That is a classic UI conflict where the camera controls fight the game controls. My PRD asked for mouse drag for slinging and keyboard for camera, but Gemini tried to map everything to the mouse. Eventually, I figured out the aiming somewhat, and honestly, I thought this was super cool. It's a great way to implement the core idea. Even though we only have a sun and one planet right now, the concept is solid. I was actually trying very hard to get the asteroid into that hoop. It's oddly satisfying just to watch the physics engine do its thing. It has that just one more try potential to be addictive, which is exactly what you want in an arcade-style game. But we can't stop there. This is supposed to be a solar system, not just a planet and a hoop. I wanted to change it because this wasn't fully matching my initial vision. My vision was grander, distinct planets, n-body physics where multiple bodies influence the path, and a sense of exploration. This version is like a cool mobile game tech demo, but I want the full simulation. So I went back to Claude. I checked in to see if it fixed the lighting. It did make the planets more visible. Everything looks okay, except there is still one massive problem. I still couldn't see the asteroid. I'm clicking around and I can hear the sound effects. I asked for sensory feedback, whooshing for launches, explosive booms on collisions, and I can hear them. The code is executing. The game thinks it's running. The planets are orbiting the sun correctly, which is a win for the mechanics, but I just couldn't see anything else. It's like playing a game with the monitor off. Then I realized I could zoom out, and this is where the UI issues came back. I was trying to figure out the controllers, but the buttons were overlapping on the top right corner. It's a mess. The HUD elements were supposed to be minimal, speed meter, gravity indicators, but here they are cluttering the view and stacking on top of each other. I decided to be patient. I messed around with it, took another screenshot, and told Claude specifically, I can't see the asteroid and your UI is broken. Fix the overlapping buttons and give me my rock. While Claude went back to the drawing board, I went back to Gemini. I realized I needed to be more specific. I asked Gemini to actually build the full solar system because we were stuck with just 2 planets. I wanted that scalable 3D map with planets, moons, and asteroids orbiting in real time. We went ahead and launched Gemini again, and wow. Okay, now we have a full solar system. This looks super cool. We have distinct planets with different colors, blue for Earth analogs, reddish hues for Mars, yellows for gas giants, just like I asked for in the overall art style section. I started looking around trying to find my asteroid. I was assuming it was going to spawn on the outside of the solar system, maybe in an asteroid belt zone like I suggested in the mechanics doc. But then I saw something weird. There is this planet with a ring around it, but the ring is in the wrong place. And then I realized that's not a planetary ring. That's the target. Gemini took the hoop concept from the first version and scaled it up to planetary size. It essentially created a planetary goalpost. And then I found the asteroid. It was right there in the middle of the map. This is kind of odd. It feels too easy starting right in the center. It's a weird place to have the asteroid start, but the game is actually coming together. Visuals aside, this was by far much better than exactly what I had in mind for a second iteration. Now look closely at the mechanics here. Watch the trajectory line. It is bending. That is the n-body physics I requested in the PRD. Most simple games use simple gravity. You aim at a planet, you hit it. But here, you can see the curve changing as the path passes near different planets due to their individual gravitational pulls. The mechanics seem to work perfectly. It's actually a little bit more difficult than I thought to hit the target planet, even from this close distance. You have to account for the orbital movement. The target is moving, and the gravity of the neighboring bodies is pulling your shot off course. This is exactly the educational but fun vibe I wanted. You are learning orbital mechanics by failing. I definitely got stuck playing this for a little bit. It is oddly satisfying. There is something about watching a trajectory line warp in real time that just scratches a part of your brain. But I was having such a hard time hitting this huge planet, which really speaks to the underlying complexity of the physics engine Gemini built. But I wanted to push it further. We could have stopped here, but my PRD had a specific requirement for wireframe effects. I didn't just want textured planets. I wanted a subtle wireframe grid or mesh to be visible underneath the planets to visualize the gravitational fields. I wanted to see the fabric of space dipping under the mass of the planets. This is key for user friendliness. It helps you read the gravity. So I went back to Claude to see if it could handle this advanced visual request, and disappointment. It gave me an asteroid now, so at least that is fixed. But look at this. The asteroid is just sitting there. It spawns in the same place no matter where I click. I'm clicking furiously with my mouse, trying to drag and shoot, and nothing else would happen. The sound effects are firing. I hear the launch, but the object is frozen. It's completely unplayable. So that was confusing and frustrating. I was expecting Claude to do much better, especially given how detailed my prompt was about gravity simulation and real-time orbits. It seems like every time Claude fixes a visual bug, it breaks the physics engine. So I shifted my attention back to Gemini. Gemini has the gameplay loop working. The physics are solid. Now I need it to nail the visuals. I asked it to add the wireframe beneath the planets to show the gravitational pull as I had originally envisioned it. Gemini's first attempt at the grid, well, take a look. It looks cool, right? It has that synthwave Tron aesthetic with the neon colors. It fits the arcade vibe, but there is a problem. The grid is flat. We don't see any of the gravitational pull underneath. It's just a floor. It doesn't convey any information about mass or gravity. It looks like a dance floor, not a gravity simulation. So I had to get hands-on. I took a screenshot of the game. I gave that screenshot back to Gemini and asked it to just find the issue and fix it. And then it did fix it. But classic AI development, it introduced a new quirk. It fixed the grid. You can see the curvature now, but now it's only noticing it's only warping on one planet. I checked it and noticed that while we still do have a gravitational pull on the other planets, the physics are still working. Visually, only one planet has a huge dip on the blanket. It's like only one planet has mass and the others are made of styrofoam. It's a weird inconsistency. I was getting close, but I needed it perfect. I asked it to fix that consistency issue. And of course, right at the critical moment, my computer shut off. Just the universe testing my patience. But I rebooted, gave it another prompt, and it figured it out. And this is what we got. Look at that. We have a full playable game. We have a sun, distinct planets, real-time orbits, and that beautiful wireframe grid. Look at how the grid warps deep under the larger planets and creates shallow dips under the smaller ones. It is a perfect visualization of the gravity wells. You can actually use the grid to aim, seeing where the gravity will catch your asteroid and sling it. This fulfills the wireframe effects section of my design doc perfectly, glowing faintly, serving as a visual aid without cluttering the screen. Claude also eventually figured out how to get the planets to orbit, but looking at its final result, we are still shooting straight at the camera. It looks broken, it feels broken. It just never recovered from the initial stumbling blocks. I'm not gonna lie, I was not gonna continue to try to work on that Claude version. The difference is night and day. Gemini didn't just write code, it understood the physics and the intent of the game design. It built the launch visualization, the n-body gravity, the solar system layout, and the specific wireframe aesthetic I asked for. I think Gemini definitely won this one. It took the PRD and turned it into a functional, fun prototype that I could actually play for hours. I'm thinking for the next video, we push these models to add the advanced features from my doc. Things like black holes, multiplayer challenges, or maybe even the collision fragmentation effects where the planets shatter. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see me try to force Claude to fix its mess? Should we double down on Gemini and turn this into a real product? Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.